The WBA lightweight title was contested over this past weekend, and we had an opportunity to see the world title holder, Stephanie Hahn, rematch Holm, and it was a darn good fight, but the wrong person ended with the judge's favor. This is happening too much in the sport of boxing. I don't know what can be done, because just when you have a fighter who is the title holder and favorite, just because they have that position, when the bell rings, the title is on the line. You're not the champ while the fight is going on until the final bell rings and the decision is meted out. But I listened to these announcers and how they talked about this fight, which is why I'm producing this video, because I just want to state a case for when someone comes in and does everything right. However, the reward is not there. Let's talk about Hahn versus Holm 2. The WBA lightweight title fight between Stephanie Hahn and Holm 2 took place on Saturday, May 30th. And it was another MVPW promotion. But this was a better fight than the first fight. We found out particularities that weren't revealed during the first go-round, like Holm entered that first fight having been in a car accident, and she had a torn pec muscle. And also that she tried to fight through and go through with the match because, these fights are hard to come by, and it was a world title shot for her. So going into the rematch, she made certain that she was prepared to get in there and fight for that title, as she's an aging fighter, but at the same time, she knew exactly who she had in front of her in Hahn. The first fight saw Hahn dictate the action pretty much with her jab, and a clash of heads in the 7th round led to the fight being stopped on the specific cut. And so Hahn said, hey, we could do it again. And sure enough, here we were for the rematch. But the rematch started off totally different from the first go-round. What I noticed about Holm's approach to this, she was on her toes, daintily moving around, circling to Holm's own right side, being a southpaw, pumping her jab, shooting straight lefts right down the pike that the immobile Han couldn't get out of the way of. There were a couple of clashes of heads in this rematch, but nothing like the clash of shots that Holm was dictating the tempo entirely with. What I noticed was her style was reminiscent of Bernard Hopkins, where I've seen him on many occasions fighting a southpaw, but Hopkins is an orthodox fighter. In this instance, we would switch the roles where Holm, who was boxing like Hopkins out of the southpaw position, kept her hands up, and that left hand was right near her own chin, sometimes crossing over to stop Han's punches, but she was behind the jab, diving in with that left straight down the pike, and she couldn't miss. What the announcers were talking about, and I think it was primarily due to Han being the title holder, they were talking about her as if she were doing the bulk of the scoring, which she was not. And there were several instances, I think it was Michaela Mayer, who was assisting with ringside color commentary, would state that Han landed a great shot when it was actually Holm landing the shot. And see, that type of thing can't happen, people. You have to give credit to the fighter who is making the fight, the fighter who is scoring. Even as the fight ended, you could tell by when the decision was announced that the home crowd for Han, they weren't celebrating, because this fight was Holm's and it was hers. She should have taken home the victory, and it was a disgrace. You could see the pain and anguish in Holly Holm's face when the decision was announced, because this was just something of a favor. The fight was held in El Paso, Texas, and I'll tell you something. It was not a victory for Stephanie Han. She's such a limited fighter. It's amazing that she has that title. It should have been lifted off of her waist on Saturday. I hope that Holly Holm will get another opportunity at some point. She's one heck of a fighter. I didn't like also the fact that we had the ringside commentators. Rosado, I believe, was there along with Mayer, and they were talking about Holm being a multiple sport fighter, but in this fight, she boxed, and she boxed very well, very smoothly. On the inside, when they spoke of Holm, who went to try to go to work on the inside, but all Han would do was grasp and hold on, they were talking about Holm's experience in mixed martial arts fights, where she was used to wrestling and being able to be roughhousing. But that wasn't what Holm was doing. Holm was boxing, and from the distance, she was outscoring Han. When she got in close, all Han would do was grab and tie her up and rabbit punch her to the back of the head, where the referee often warned her but never took a point away or anything. But it was a blow that was illegal, and it landed many times during this fight. Holm was clearly the better fighter on this night. Maybe Han just had a bad night, or maybe Holm came in after not being in great situation and circumstance during the first fight. But I loved the fact that she was able to box through this. I didn't think that she won the fight at all. It was a decision clearly that should have gone to Holly Holm, and Holm still fought well and boxed. There were punches that really landed solidly. More than anything, in the 10 rounds that Stephanie Han could get off, you saw Holm landing the greater punches in this fight. Hopefully, as I said, she'll get a second opportunity with another title holder out there. In the post-fight press conference, we saw the champion, Caroline Dubois, step right up to the dais and ask Han, if you can't get that fight that's coveted with Katie Taylor, because so many ladies are lined up for Katie Taylor, and Taylor is looking to possibly have only one more fight, a homegoing fight. It's looking like some of these other people who are calling out for her are not going to get that shot. So Caroline is like, I want to fight you. Now, Hans said right there in front of cameras and microphones, oh, we could do this, and shook Caroline's hand. But if she tries to live up to what she stated at that press conference post-fight, I could clearly see Han being defeated easily by Caroline Dubois, who is much more aggressive, much younger than Holly Holm, and is a fighter that is growing into a championship elite status type fighter. I've often stated that Caroline might be the best fighter in the Dubois family. I still stand by that, but it would be a wonderful thing to see her unify against Han. Holly Holm, please don't hang your head, and please don't leave the sport yet, because you are a champion and you are a championship elite fighter. For the way that you boxed against someone who held a title, there was bias in this fight. I'll just say it plainly. There was bias here, and sometimes when this takes place, the person that the favor went to, they'll end up sooner or later being really exposed for what they are, and that's lesser of a fighter. But what do you think? This is Stormy B Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what your thoughts are about Stephanie Han's performance against Holly Holm. Do you really feel that she won that fight? Or was this another case of judges and commentators showing favoritism but not actually watching the action in the fight and describing it in a manner that is disrespectful to the viewing audience? Leave comments and let's discuss further. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.